Howdy, Waco. Let me first of all, yeah, there you go. You got a little bear. The Bailey Bears. Bailey Bears, are they on their way to another basketball national championship? Sick'em Bears. Listen, I want to say a big sick'em and a thank you to Darrell and the Texas State Rifle Association for their endorsement of my reelection to be your governor. And thanks also to Charles Cotton and the NRA for their endorsement for my reelection as your governor. You know, one thing that we Texans know about, and that is we have God-given rights. And included in those God-given rights is the right to self-defense. And that right to self-defense is enshrined in our United States Constitution in the Second Amendment. And in this particular election, we need to understand that there's an enormous contrast between the candidates on the ballot. My likely opponent, Beto O'Rourke, has... I know, I keep making that mistake. My likely opponent, Robert Francis O'Rourke, has threatened your God-given Second Amendment rights by threatening to come and take your guns. And you know what? He heard that big no from his fellow Texans, and amazingly, in Tyler, Texas last week, here he is double talking, coming back and said, oh, he doesn't want to take anything away from anybody, and all he wants to do is support the Second Amendment. Right. We know what Beto wants to do. He does want to come and take your guns and undermine your Second Amendment rights, and we are not going to let that happen in the great state of Texas. To the contrary of what Beto stands for, I have defended your Second Amendment rights. You've heard the litany of what I've done. Let me just punctuate it this way. I was proud to sign in this last session a law making Texas a constitutional carry state. And then to ensure that Joe Biden and his team would not be able to take up the cause of what Beto wanted to do and come and take your guns, I signed a law making Texas a Second Amendment sanctuary state. You need to recognize this. This is the most important thing, and that is your freedoms are on the line this coming election. Either you can elect somebody who will defend your constitutional rights, including your Second Amendment rights, or you can stay home and not vote and let the liberal, leftist, socialists hijack your Second Amendment rights. I know what you're going to do. You are going to go vote. You are going to ensure we re-elect Greg Abbott as your governor and protect your Second Amendment rights. Now, it would be one thing in a way easy if it were a single issue race where that was the only thing we had to worry about. But if you look at all these other issues where there is a gaping divide between myself and Beto, you see that there is political cataclysm if the election goes the wrong way. Look at the idiotic idea where Beto stands on defunding the police. Defunding the police has always led to more crime in communities. And, you know, even here in Texas, we had the situation where Austin, Texas, defunded the police, and the results were very predictable. This past year, Austin set an all-time record high in the number of murders. In Texas, we don't defund police. We support our law enforcement officers in this state. And that's exactly why I signed a law that will defund any city that defunds police. So one way I got some sense of enjoyment, and that is after I signed that law, watching the city of Austin scramble to fully refund the law enforcement they had defunded. But listen, as crazy as that is, there's another approach by these leftist radicals like Biden and like Beto that's even more dangerous than defunding the police, and that is their open border policies that are endangering communities, not just on the border, but across Texas and across the entire United States of America. All Biden had to do was to leave in place what Trump had implemented. He implemented 4 things: remain in Mexico, Title 42 policy, end, catch, and release, and build the wall. Those 4 things led to the lowest border crossings in decades. And Biden came in and eliminated all 4 of those, and he opened the border to everybody from across the entire world to come into the state of Texas. People have come from more than 150 countries across the entire globe, including people coming from terrorist-sponsored nations. The President of the United States has an obligation to secure us from hostile enemies from across the globe. He has failed at his job to do the fundamental responsibility of the United States President. So we have with us here today a member of the United States Congress, Pete Sessions. And we need to remind him of some authority that he has, because let me tell you one thing that's going to happen this election cycle. In November, Nancy Pelosi is going to be fired as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And when that happens, we need Pete Sessions and the Republicans who will be taking control of the United States Congress to immediately begin investigations and call up for the impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas and kick him out of office for failing to do his job. And then take that investigation to wherever it may lead and get rid of anybody who is not following the laws passed by the United States Congress to secure the border. But whenever the federal government fails to step up and do its job to keep our community safe, Texas has stepped up and will step up. What we've done is we've done more than all the states combined in the history of the United States of America to step up and secure our border. The state of Texas is coming out of pocket, out of your taxpayer money, more than $3 billion for Texas to secure the border. We've deployed 10,000 National Guard who are on watch on the border as we speak right now. Give it up for our great National Guard who are working to help secure our border. With them are more than 1,000 Texas Department of Public Safety officers, and they are making arrests, arrest of human smugglers, arrest of drug smugglers, arrest of people who are merely trespassing in the state of Texas who came across the border illegally. I had to open up and convert 2 prisons into 2 massive jails where we are jailing people who are coming across the border and we are arresting. Biden has catch and release. We have arrest in jail in the state of Texas, sending the message we will not tolerate people coming into this country illegally. And then on top of that, we signed a new law this past session that Doc Anderson and others supported in this past session, where we are going after this new drug that's coming into the United States of America called fentanyl. You need to understand what's going on here. This drug is made in China and smuggled in across Mexico. 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a deadly dose. 2 milligrams, like 2 grains of salt, can kill you. Texas law enforcement over the past year has seized more fentanyl that is enough to kill every man, woman, and child in Texas, California, New York, Illinois, and Florida combined. This is deadly dangerous. If you look at the age group of people between the ages of 18 and 45, for the past year in 2021, the leading cause of death in the United States for that group was not COVID, was not car wrecks, was not cancer, it was fentanyl. Deadly fentanyl is something that the President of the United States has said exactly nothing about. Texas, however, is cracking down on it. We made a new law this past session to make it a felony for anybody to either manufacture or distribute fentanyl in Texas, and we have the Texas Department of Public Safety arresting fentanyl traffickers and putting them where they belong, which is behind bars. And on top of all that, Texas is now building our own border wall to secure our great state. the funding that Doc Anderson and others provided to us, we've been putting up these panels. This is the exact same wall that President Trump was putting up. It's 30 feet high, which is about twice as high as the roof in this room. And they go in panels that are almost as wide as the distance between these two columns. And we put up panel after panel after panel. Well, overnight, I was able to post something on Twitter that I couldn't disclose early on because I wanted to make sure that we concluded the process. But many people have asked me before, why can we not get those materials that were left behind by the Trump administration that Biden was not using? So we've been working on this for a while. I wanted to make sure that we concluded this before announcing it publicly so Biden wouldn't do anything about it. But we obtained 1,700 of those panels that we are now putting up on the wall in Texas. So we're able to build it faster, we're able to build it cheaper, we're able to continue to build that wall, and Texas is going to continue building that wall until we return to the White House a true Republican who will continue to build that wall and secure our border. One last thing I want to go over, and that is another gaping divide between myself and Beto and what it means for the future of Texas. Because amongst the socialistic ideas that he promotes, that Biden promotes, and this last Saturday in San Antonio, Texas, Ocasio-Cortez herself was promoting, and that is implementing the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal that would destroy the energy sector in Texas. The energy sector, by the way, that has made America energy independent. I am running for re-election to protect energy jobs in Texas and to prevent the Green New Deal. And let me just close with this. Everybody in this room is extraordinarily patriotic. You love America. You know what I know. America is the greatest country in the history in the entire world. And I got a feeling there may be some people in this room who love Texas as much, if not more, than they love the United States of America. But here's the main thing I want you to take away, and that is you got to understand we have somebody running for governor and other people who are running for office on the ballot this November who do not share that vision. They want to reimagine and redesign the United States of America because they don't like the way that it is. And they want to redesign the future of the state of Texas because they do not think that Texas is the greatest state and the greatest country in the history of the world. We are going to show them when we go cast our ballots in November that we love Texas, we love America, and we are going to win in November, and we're going to keep Texas the best state in the greatest country in the history of the world. God bless you all. God bless the great state of Texas.